Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Katie and today I'm going to be talking about my May TBR. I'm not making my May TBR too ambitious because I have big exams coming up in the middle of June, so I'm trying to start focusing on revising. But that being said, I do love reading, so I will probably read quite a few books in the month of May, and these are just some of the ones I kind of have on my radar to get started with. I don't know. I feel like I tend to use TBRs as more like as a guide for myself. But firstly, I have to introduce everybody to Octi. So I got one of these little plushies and it has a smiley face and then it has the grumpy face. This is like darkness Katie and then this is brightness Katie. So we're gonna have the happy face today because we're positive that we can read lots of books in May. There we go. I quite like May as a month as well. My birthday's at the very start of June, so May is like the month leading up to my birthday, which is exciting. Anyway, so yes, on with the books. So first of all, because I've been in a Shadow and Bone mood, I have been binging the show this weekend. I really want to read Rule of Wolves. I think I might have had this on last month's TBR, but I never got to it. But I really want to get to it this month. Definitely. And look at that. The naked cover is so pretty. But anyway, yeah, I think I've heard semi-good things about this so far. I haven't really heard a lot. Although I think I saw a spoiler for a character death and I'm not prepared for that. But yeah, I love Nikolai and I love Zoya and I love Nina. And they're like three main characters in this series, so they're like all my favourites, and like David and Jenya, and I just love them all. So yeah, I feel like this one has all the good characters from Shadow and Bone, and I'm excited to see where it goes because King of Scars definitely left on quite a big cliffhanger. And I have actually spoiled myself for the ending because I had to know if Nikolai and Zoya ended up together. But I'm very interested to see how it like gets to that point. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. Okay, and then next book club books. So for Sorcery and Stardust, we have A Winter's Orbit by Evrina Maxwell. Actually, it's just Winter's Orbit. I always say A Winter's Orbit, but it's just Winter's Orbit. My co-host for the month is Maddie from Book Browsing Blog, so I'm very excited to see what she thinks and have her read it because I know she's been very excited to get to it. I'll hold it on this side. But yeah, I read this like December last year, an early art copy, and I just loved it so much. It's just so comforting. It's like red, white and royal blue in space with the kind of political plot line similar to A Memory Called Empire. They're the like two books that it feels like a mishmash of. And there's just so many like, I don't want to call them like fan fiction tropes, but that's basically what they are. And it's just so like comforting. I like the romance. And I really like sci-fi romance almost, because like fantasy romance I feel like is a genre, but I don't see much like sci-fi romance other than those Ice Planet Barbarian books. But I feel like they're a little bit of a different level to this. This is just like cutesy, wholesome. It kind of gives like, I know I compare a lot of books to like Becky Chambers books, but not in terms of like plot or anything, but just the kind of wholesome-y vibes that you get while reading. I feel like that's what you get with this one. And there's also a really good political plot as well. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And for Chaos Rising Book Club, which I co-host with Tammy from Tammy Tries to Read, Rue from Rue's Reading Corner, and Sophia from Fantasy Book Addict, we are reading The Black Tides of Heaven, and possibly the second one as well. I'm not quite sure how many we're reading, but definitely The Black Tides of Heaven. And I'm very excited for this one. I have read it before, but only the first one, and I think it's like a series of 4 novellas. So I do actually want to try and read like all 4, just because I feel like they'd be good to read together. And I know the first one sort of, they follow a set of twins, and the first one follows one twin, and then the second one follows the other twin, and then I'm not quite sure what the last 2 followed. But anyway, I really enjoy it. It's kind of like silk punk, I feel like is the way I've heard to describe them, and I can't remember the plot that well. But I just remember it's kind of about these twins like growing up, so yeah, in this like magical world. So I'm quite excited to read that one as well. And then some audiobooks I want to get to. So I bought myself the sequel to Velocity Weapon, and the sequel is called Chaos Vector. So I'm very excited for that one, and I really enjoyed the audiobook for Velocity Weapon, and I really enjoyed the book. Oh, it's got a talking AI spaceship, which I love, and when they're like sassy and so they've definitely been added to my collection now as one of, like, because I love Mbot from Skyward and like Aiden from the Illuminae Files. And Lovey from The Long Way to the Small Angry Planet. I have Barrow from Velocity Weapon, who might be my favourite. Just like, oh, yeah, I'll talk more about that in my wrap up. But anyway, I'm really excited for the sequel. It's called Chaos Vector, and to see where everything goes. And I also got the audiobook for These Feathered Flames, which is a new release, and I believe it's sapphic, and it's like inspired by Russian folklore, I think, by the tale of the Firebird, I think. And I know it has a pair of sisters who have been compared to like Sansa and Arya. It's been too long since I watched Game of Thrones like type vibes, so I'm really excited. Or maybe Elsa and Anna, I don't know. I think I've heard the main character like compared to Elsa, or maybe she just has ice powers. Anyway, I'm just making things up off the top of my head now, but I'm excited to read it because I think I'm going to really enjoy it. It sounds like the kind of YA fantasy that I would love, so yeah, I'm excited for that one. And also Golden Fool, although I'm filming this like slightly before the end of April, so that's definitely sort of next on my audiobook TBR, so it's possible I might finish that before May. But also, if I don't read it in May, then no, if I don't read it in April, then I definitely get to it in May. And this is the second book in the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. The ending of Fool's Errand just completely destroyed me. So I'm excited / scared to read this next one. And I feel like I've heard the Golden Fool has a lot of like Fitz and the Fool moments, which I'm a bit scared for, but also I love them. They're like the best pair in fiction. Oh, well, maybe not the best pair, but like one of the best relationships. It's just like platonic soulmates, and I love them. So yeah. Also, I want to try and possibly read, don't come at me for this, Royal Assassin. So I think some people may be confused why I am reading the Tawny Man trilogy without having completed the Farseer trilogy. So I have read Assassin's Apprentice, but I never continued that trilogy. I just went straight to Live Ships, which is fine because like Live Ships isn't really connected. Then once I finished Live Ships, I was like, oh, I want to read the Tawny Man trilogy because I love the Fool, who is a character who also appears in Live Ships as a different character, but they're like the same character. It's like Hoyd from the Cosmere. So I just wanted to get more of the Fool. Although actually I think the Fool is in Royal Assassin and Assassin's Crest. So I also want to go back and read them at the same time. But also I don't think I'm ready to see Night Eyes as a puppy. That's just going to be cuteness overload. So I have read them in a bit of the wrong order, but I regularly read books in the wrong order, so it's fine. So anyway, I'm excited for Golden Fool and possibly Royal Assassin. I also want to try and get to Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk. I think it's the sequel by Elizabeth Lim, because I have an arc of Unravel the Dusk, even though I think they're already both out, but I think in the UK versions are releasing, so I have like an arc for the UK version. So yeah, I want to read this. I think it's quite a quick read. It's not even it's not even 400 pages, so hopefully this will be a good like revision read to have some fun and blast through, because I feel like this is another like fun YA fantasy. I'm not putting too much like chunky adult fantasy on this TBR because I don't have that much faith in myself. And I feel like just things that are easy to get through are easier to get through. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I believe this one, I think it's like a Mulan inspired, no, not inspired. I think the reason it's like compared to that is because the main character dresses up as a boy to enter a tailoring competition to like become a tailor. I don't know, I feel like the description I've heard is Mulan meets Project Runway, and I have no idea what Project Runway is, but I can guess by the title. Yeah, so I think it's like something to do with fashion, and I don't know if there's like an old immortal type love interest like the Darkling, but anyway, I think it sounds fun, so I'm excited for it. And also in new releases, there's a book called How to Find a Princess by Alyssa Cole. And this one comes out in May, and I want to get to it because it's a romance, so I feel like you can read them quite quickly. And this is a sapphic Anastasia modern retelling, which just sounds so good. I love Anastasia. Like, I literally listen to at least a couple of songs from the soundtrack every day, the musical. But I do also really like the film. Yeah, so I'm just so excited for that. I think it's going to be great. And Sapphic as well. Oh, yeah, I'm just very excited for that one. I think it's like this private investigator maybe is tracking down this like lost royal. I think it's actually part of her like reluctant royal or runaway royals. It's either reluctant royals or runaway royals series. That will be exciting. I really need to come up with better vocabulary than just saying I'm excited all the time. But I am excited. I also want to try and finish Children of Time. I might possibly finish this one again before the end of May because I want to try and prioritise it. But I'm currently about 200 pages in and I'm enjoying it. It's like this world where the humans, the human race is sort of like ended and the last remnants of humanity are on this spaceship. And they come across this planet which they think is like a refuge. But actually there's these spiders that are living there and they like colonise the planet. Well, not colonise, like they live in the planet. So the spiders have like evolved into these kind of sentient like master race. So then it becomes like a bit, oh well, I haven't got to this bit yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be like the humans are trying to colonise the planet, but the spiders are there already and then they like fight. So yeah, it's really interesting so far. I think that Adrian Chbosky does like evolutionary type fiction really well because I've read Doors of Eden by him, which is another one of his sci-fi books, and that also really explores like evolution and how different, in that one there's kind of lots of different like parallel worlds and they've all kind of evolved differently and then there's like doorways between them, which is cool. But in this one it's more like almost an experiment of, because there's this virus that causes like natural selection on like crack. So yeah, I'm quite interested to finish that one and see what I think of it. Okay, and finally I also want to try and get to Lost in the Neverwoods, which I actually have an audiobook of, which was an ALC from March. And an ALC is an advanced listener copy, which is like a ARC audiobook basically from Libra FM. There's like this scheme that you can sign up for. Sometimes the selection's rubbish and sometimes it's good. But they had Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas and I really enjoyed Cemetery Boys by him when I read it like last October or something. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's a Peter Pan. I don't know if it's like Peter Pan retelling or like Peter Pan telling. I think it's a retelling. But I'm very excited to see like how it is. The cover's pretty cool. I don't know how much I like Peter Pan as a story. I may have watched the film when I was little, but I don't really remember it that well. Although I used to do a pantomime every year. I was in like my local area, and one of the years we did Peter Pan, so that was cool. Yeah, another year we did Snow White and I was the magic mirror. And another year we did Hansel and Gretel and I was the like hero. But anyway, so yeah, so I did enjoy that Peter Pan. That was my Peter Pan experience, so I feel like I enjoyed that. So that's all the books I want to try and get to in May. I'm not like putting a ridiculous number of books on this, although this might seem a ridiculous number. I haven't actually counted, I've just been spewing off books that I think I'm interested in. I'm such a bad planner. But yeah, also on my TBR will be my massive stack of notes. Yes, so wish me luck with revision, and that will definitely be my June TBR, just a pile of notes. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And definitely let me know in the comments any books you're planning on reading in May, or any books you're excited for, or any books you're excited for me to read. Yeah, definitely let me know. And I hope you're all having a really good day, and so does Octi. I feel like her current name is Octi, but I am open to other suggestions because I feel like it's not the most original name ever. We can't have, I'm not gonna be a pirate. So yeah, me and Octi and Panini. I'll get a Panini on my other shoulder. Okay, there we go. Oh, Panini won't go on a shoulder. But anyway, we wish you a good day. Bye bye.